What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Seeking Sister Wife Season 4, Episode 9. Let's start off with the Epps family, Marcus, Taryn, and India. So as we know, Marcus had a date with Janae, who is an acquaintance of his from way back when. He had met her in between breaking up with Taryn and meeting India. And they dated, they did their thing, they went their separate ways, and Janae has always been on his mind. And so he's been able to reconnect with her, and he flew her down, I think, to Florida so that they could meet up, have this really romantic night, and he's going to try to sell polygamy to her. So it didn't go as planned because he had wanted to, I guess, get her belly full, give her some wine, get all romantical with her, and then drop the bomb that he was a polygamist and he wants her to join the fam bam. But it didn't go quite like that. Before they even had dinner, he had already dropped the bomb on her. The way the conversation was going, I guess he felt compelled to tell her sooner than later that he was a polygamist and that he wanted her to be the third wife. And she wasn't feeling it at all. This is just not her thing. And so she let him know that that's just not what she does. So the next morning, he's telling Taryn and India about how his date went with Janae. And he explains to Taryn and India that Janae did not warm up to the idea at all of polygamy, but he hasn't given up on Janae and he wants to try again. And so he tells them that he's going to book another flight for her, and either she gets on the flight or she doesn't. So that's what I was waiting to see, because the next scene, it's Marcus and Janae in a restaurant, and he tells us that she was in town for business. So with him booking her a flight and her making deciding on whether or not she was going to get on the flight to explore this further or not get on the flight and completely close the door on that, and that never happened. I don't know where they were at, but she was just in town for business. I don't know, I guess Florida. I have no idea. And so they're having dinner together or lunch, and he brings up the whole polygamy thing again. So he is trying really hard to sell it. First, he had told her during their first date, he told her that, think outside the box, kind of like, be a little bit more elevated, be a little bit smarter about this. Stop doing things the way things have always been done. Obviously, monogamy isn't working for you because you're not in a situation where you're happily partnered with someone else. So think outside the box, and telling her that you might not know it, but you probably have been in a polygamous relationship anyway because your man was probably cheating on you, but you just didn't know it. But this time, everything will be upfront, out in the open. You'll be aware. Now, what he's doing is to try to convince her that polygamy is the way for her to go. He asks her, do you have any sisters? And she says, yes, I have two. And he says, well, it's just like that. The sister wives are just like sisters. And she's like, okay, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, because real sisters don't share the same man. So he tries that angle of it, trying to let her know that, you're going to have another sisterhood. Y'all are going to be really close. Y'all are going to be really tight. So, you're just going to be gaining. You're not going to be losing anything. You're going to be gaining, two sisters, and it's going to be wonderful. So he's doing all that he can to convince her to join, because he really wants this woman and he really wants her to be part of the Marcus Club. So his last ditch effort, in my eyes, it was kind of like his last ditch effort. It was to convince her to meet Taryn in India. And he tells her, I want you to hear what this lifestyle is like from the perspective of the two wives, because you've just only been hearing it from my point of view and my experience of it. So I want you to see how it is for the two females that are involved. And once again, when I'm thinking that Janae would shut it down, she doesn't. She actually agrees. And she kind of acts like, you know what, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to agree, but yeah, I'll go ahead and play your game. But why are you wasting your time if you know you don't want to do this? If you don't want to do this, just tell them no, thanks, but no thanks. I'm pretty sure they're wonderful women. I'm pretty sure this is a lifestyle that works for the three of y'all, but this is just not my kind of thing. So I really do apologize. I'm going to have to back out. And then get your purse and walk out. But no, she wants to entertain this further. Now, of course, this could all be production. You know what I'm saying? They just want to create more scenes because it seems like not much is happening with Marcus, Taryn, and India, except, meeting women that for whatever reason we don't see the end or the conclusion of those encounters. For example, like Bina, is she still in the background, waiting for her entrance to come back in? Is he done with Bina? Is Bina done with him? What's going on with that? We don't know. So now he's going to try to convince Janae to come over and meet the two wives and see how she feels about it after meeting them. I don't think Janae is going to go for this. I think that, this is just all filler, is just trying to like create more drama, to create more scenes for the Epps family, because nothing else is really happening with them. So, but I don't think that Janae is going to go for this. She just doesn't seem like the type of woman who wants to, not necessarily share a man. I don't think she's the type of woman who would want to share the spotlight, or would want to share the attention of a man with other women. I think she wants to be the one and only. I think she wants to be, the center of any man's life. And, she's not going to go for 1/3 of Marcus. So we'll just see. We'll just have to like go along for it. I'm kind of feeling a little bit impatient with the Epps family. I thought there was a lot of potential with this family. I was excited to see how this was going to work out, but it's like they really disappointed us. When I say they, I mean TLC. As far as like, Marcus has a lot going on that we don't get to know, we don't get to see or hear about on the show. For example, his 9 other children or 8 other children, because we have seen 2 of them on the show. We haven't seen anything about his 8 other children. We don't know how the mothers of those 8 other children, like where do they fall in line with all of this? How do they feel about all of this? How did his constituents take to the fact that he is a polygamist? Because I think he's a council member or something. He's got something to do with politics in Ohio, I think. So if he was voted into his position, what do his constituents feel about this? I'm not saying that the constituents need to be a part of the show. I'm just saying that, can somebody, tell us what the experience was when they did find out that this guy was a polygamist? So I think that there's a lot to work with the Epps family, but for whatever reason, TLC is only giving us, like 1/10 of the whole picture. And I don't know if Janae and Bina are like paid actors to come and fill up time, or if they are really interested, or if these are people that Marcus is really interested in, and women who are really interested in Marcus. But I don't know. But I'm just kind of like, compared to previous seasons, this season is moving so slow. We're already on episode 9, and I don't know I don't know how many episodes it's going to be. I have no idea, but it's like episode 9, and Marcus is just striking out left and right. And when there's no other possible, and then also Taryn and India seem to be getting along like so well with one another, I guess, I'm assuming, because we don't really see much of them when Marcus is not in the scene. So Taryn and India seem to be getting along so well, I guess, that there's no friction, there's no drama, there's no challenges with them for us to be interested in. It's like, I don't know what they do all day, but it's like, okay, they sit around and wait for Marcus to come home and talk about his dates, and wait for Marcus to come home and, I don't know, argue with him about what not to do on his next date. So I just need more from the Epps family, because I think that they have it. Now, India was kind of giving it to us, when she was really feeling challenged with Marcus possibly sleeping with Bina, possibly sleeping with Janae. Those were interesting scenes, to see the conflict that arose between her and Marcus, and even how Taryn played into this, where you have India who's just like, you're not going to sleep with anybody. And Taryn is like, you do what you want to do. You're out there dating. So, we can't dictate to you what you should and shouldn't do when you're out on your dates. So that was interesting to see how he had one wife who was, very controlling, and the other wife who was more laid back. So I just need more from the Epps family, because I think they can give us so much more, but we'll see how it all goes. And like I said before, Janae, I don't think is going to be joining the Epps family anytime soon. I don't care what they say or how they try to sell it. I just don't think this is going to be her cup of tea. But we'll see. We shall see. Thank you so much for joining me on this review of Seeking Sister Wives, the Epps Family Edition. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, please subscribe. And I'll definitely talk to you later.